Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everyone, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed. I think that's me, right? I'm along with my co-hosts, Buckeye Bambi and Super Beth. What's up, ladies?
Good morning.
Look how smile they are, smiling. God, I can't talk this morning. I've been up early. I've been working. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I've been trying to find the question of the week. It's been a busy morning for me, ladies. Have you guys had at least a relaxing morning, relaxing week? What's going on with you, ladies?
I'm on vacation, so I'm at my brother's in Ohio in Amish country, and not much happens here. So, although I did kill some zombies last night, that was pretty exciting.
That's right. So, what was that about?
Well, it's a virtual reality game you go to, and they put this like backpack on you, and it's pretty heavy. It's got the computer in there, and you've got this whole face and headgear on.
Wow.
And you've got this big rifle you have to carry around, and it feels like you're really there. I mean, it was the coolest experience ever. So
that's wild. Yeah, that's wild.
So, and there were 6 of us that went, and I didn't come in last. 5th.
As long as you didn't come in last.
Well done.
I killed more zombies than one other person.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was with Sweet and the Podfather this week.
Oh.
Right. And I'll talk about them a little bit later in the show, but Sweet is in this not virtual reality, in this AI, artificial intelligence, like group, like a beta group. He sat there and he wrote like you tell it to do things, and within a minute he had, I don't want to kind of tell what it is because he's doing something, but it wrote this whole basically book for him or this report for him within like 30 seconds.
Wow.
Within 30 seconds. It wrote, I mean, you have to add to it, take it away, and kind of put more guidelines in, but it wrote this whole thing that would have taken probably a week or two to write, if not longer, wow. a kind of a report. I was like, oh my God, you can ask it anything. Like he asked it to a while ago, he wanted a special meal plan, and he told him exactly what it was. Gave him calories, blah, blah, everything. He follows it. He said it took him like 2 minutes to write. It's artificial intelligence. So,
it's probably,
so that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what I did. I was with Sweets and Podfather. So, but anyways, if you'd like to get a hold of Sweets and Podfather on this show, give us a call at 800-989-6504 or email us at helpinfriendsrecoverypodcast.com. Help at friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. I'm reading it the wrong way. Told you I have a long day today. And our website is finally going. There's a lot of good stuff on there. It's Friends in Recovery Podcast. No, I'm sorry. friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. Bambi, can you just take over the show? I'm just going to go. You bailed out us in last week, right? And Pam and Beth was never here. So welcome back, Beth.
Yay!
So that's how you can get a hold of us. Let's say I'd like to thank all of our donors who makes this show possible. To make a donation, you can Venmo us at Friends in Recovery Enterprises under business. You'll see all that up here if you're watching YouTube. Cash App is $ Friends in Recovery, and send a check the old slow way. Friends in Recovery Enterprises, P.O. Box 1551, Johns Island 29457. And Friends in Recovery is part of the Fire Network. You can find that on our website. That's friendsinrecoverycommunity.org. Ladies, I have an announcement, and this is the first time in a long time, right, that we're doing a Friends in Recovery adventure. The last one was our whatchamacallit, our recovery on a raft. We raised a lot of money for that. And maybe we should raise money for the next thing that we're doing. Well, we're sort of raising money. So if anybody wants to make a donation, we're going to be doing a winter camping trip in New Jersey. If you're interested, if you're hearing this and you're interested and you want to come with us, you can email us at all that email stuff or give us a call. And it's February 10th through the 12th. Okay. So it's winter camping. Bring your long johns. We'll have a fire. It's a small $50 donation to come with us. You have to bring some of your gear or whatever. But if you're interested, let us know. Here's the thing. Maybe we can ask for $50 donations, right? It costs us $50 to go. So if anybody wants to go virtually with us, maybe we can do a meeting from there. And if you want to come to the meeting, let's do a $50 donation. So you can send those donations to what I just, the Venmo or the Cash App. Just make sure it's for the camping trip, right? And I did it for a camping trip. So let's see how many $50 donations we can get or whatever you can give. Just, mark it for the camping trip. What else? And I know we're going to get to step 12. We're going to talk some personal stuff. So stay tuned for some good recovery on that. But a lot of good things going on. So Beth, Bambi, and myself, we have our little meetings before, and we have our little text threads going, like I told you guys in the past. But we decided that we want to do a bunch of guests next year because this is going to end in a couple of weeks, and the steps are going to be over with. And we did a great job doing all that, and I'm very proud of everything that we did. But we're going to have some great guests next year, right? Bambi has. I'm not going to say who they are or what they are, but you got to stay tuned every week to see what's going on. I mean, we have some high profile guests. Seriously, we do it. I'm not making that up.
I was excited to contact them. I'm like, I get to talk to that person.
I know. So that's going to be really cool. But here's the cooler thing, because this is for me, it's cool, right? So February 6th of next year is our 5-year anniversary. Okay. Woo-hoo! So the Podfather and Sweet agreed to come on and do the show with us. Okay. Fantastic. And this is the cool part of it. So if you guys have been listening for a while, when we were at Sweet's studio, Sweet never revealed himself. So he's going to reveal himself on that show for our 5-year anniversary. He's going to reveal who he is. So as some of you guys know, in the past on some of the shows, we would ask you guys to draw pictures of what Sweets looks like, what you think he looks like. So up until that was crazy. So we got some weird drawings. So if you guys want to draw some pictures up of what you think he looks like from now till the February 6th anniversary show. And it will come out on February 6th, whatever day. If it falls on Tuesday, it'll be a normal show. If not, we're going to do an extra show. But I want you guys to draw up some pictures of what you guys, the audience, thinks of what Sweets looks like. So now you might have to go back a year right before COVID and start listening to some of the shows. And let's email me those pictures or send them to me somehow, and we'll get them on the air for you guys. What else do I got? Ladies, do you have anything? Do you have anything? What's going on? I'm doing all the talking, but what about sober shout outs? Anybody have sober shout outs?
I have a sober shout out.
You go, girl.
My very, very good friend Nikoleta is to visit for the whole weekend with her sponsor up at the Wilson House for a Russian-speaking big book study.
Wow.
That's a real thing.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't think it was real, but she gets it. Her sponsor lives in Hawaii, so she flew in and then they drove up, and I just want to give her a shout out because I don't know, man, everybody, I just love when I get to see and be with my sponsor for a long time. And I wanted to give her a shout out because she's amazing.
Yeah, Nikoleta is amazing.
Sam Loyal is watching us, or at least she was, but she's a very good friend of mine.
What's up, Sam? If you're here. Bambi, any shout outs? Thanks,
I don't
Beth.
have any shout outs this week, so.
No? Really? Okay. You usually have like them all lined up, ready to go.
I'm out of my element because I'm at my brother's. And so I forgot my calendar, which
That's
is where
okay.
I write my sober shout outs on my little calendar. And I forgot to pack my calendar. So
That's okay. We'll let it go this time.
I'll catch up next week.
I do have a sober shout out. I would like to thank Bob M for running the Kiowa half a marathon with me last week. It was the best, worst half marathon ever. So I had to come up with that when we were running, because about 9 miles in, my legs started cramping up. Now I run 13, 15, 20 miles almost every weekend. Now I hurt myself and I haven't ran about a month and a half. I'm like, oh yeah, 13 miles. I can do that. No problem. Which I could. I'm not bragging. It's because I've been training my body all these years. And we get out there, we're on a pace to do under a 2-hour half a marathon, and we're going really good. And Bob was kind of like coaching me through it all. And then 9 miles hit, and I'm cramping up so bad. I had to walk. I had to stop and stretch. It was tough. It was the worst half marathon I ever ran. But Bob kept saying, we're just have fun, because I'm saying this sucks. I was bullshit. I should be a better runner than this. This is bullshit, right? He's like, what are you doing? Just have fun. So at one point, it was probably mile 10. There was these big, like, people on stilts. They were dressed up in, like, I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, and people are taking, like, hugging their leg, taking pictures. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are they doing? This is a fucking half a marathon. Get with it, people, right? And then I looked at him like, what is wrong with me? Just chill out, dude, because you're not going to win it, number one. And if you won it, so what? It's still have fun. I had to stop and say, I got to have fun. And I did. At that point, at mile 10, I was like, I'm going to have fun. And we did have fun the last 3, as much fun as I can, as my legs were cramping up and me, almost falling to the ground. But, and that's what I did. So I called it the worst, best half marathon ever. And that's the shout out I want to give to Bob M for helping me through all that and making me see at mile 10, I can still have fun. I don't have to take life so seriously. And I think that's kind of what rule 63 here, right? Isn't that what it is? In the 62. Don't take life so serious. So that's what I learned. So I
tried to tell you to trip him, Ed.
Oh yeah, that's right. You wanted, yeah, that's right. That's right. Bob had a Michigan hat on, and there was an Ohio State blow up of what's his name? Brutus. And he's sitting there with giving him the finger, and I took a picture and sent it to Bambi.
And I said, can't you just trip that guy? Just a little?
But we did
take a picture while he's on the ground.
God. So that's my shout out. And thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everybody volunteering at the Kiowa half a marathon. There was probably about 3,000 or 4,000 people out there, and it was a big to do. So thank you guys for letting me have the best, worst half marathon ever. So I just quick meeting update. Don't forget, we have twice daily AA meetings on Zoom. You can find them on our website, friendsinrecoverycommunity.org, or on aa-intergroup.org. And look for us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, Friends in Recovery Communities and Adventures. Like I said, we have that venture coming up in February. Give me an email if you guys want to go, or if you want to just donate. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and give us a 5-star review. Bambi, you've been getting us some little comments there. So let's keep up that good stuff going on. Bambi has
everybody that listens should put a purple heart in the comments.
Yes.
That's my thing, is a purple heart. So everyone that's listening, stop and put a purple heart in the comments from
Give
YouTube.
us a purple heart. So, all right, let's do this. I'm going to take this one step further. All right. I like blue, or I use purple, but I like blue also. So if you're a fan of Jersey Ed, give us a blue. If you're a fan of Bambi, Buckeye Bambi, give us a purple heart in the comments. And Beth, what color?
Orange,
an orange heart for Beth. So in those comments, I'm gonna make this a challenge for everybody who's listening. go into the comment section right now and pick one of those hearts. Blue for Ed, purple for Bambi, and orange for Beth. And let's see how many hearts we get. And we'll take up a tally next week and see who wins.
I love it.
All right. So let's do that in the comments below, guys. Whatever, if you're on whatever you're on, just give us a comment there. So here it is, guys. Everybody's been waiting for this. No, not the show topic yet.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
There it is. Question of the week, guys. What is the most unusual place you've ever slept? What's the most unusual place you've ever slept? Now, that could get a little crazy here because, recovery or using and addiction can bring us homelessness, can bring us weird places we ever slept. And we can say that also if you want to make a comment. I know Joe said in a portalette for days, homeless in Cincinnati, wearing flip-flops, shorts in a 20 degree weather. Wow. I mean, that's a far cry from where he's at now. I'm going to tell a quick story about Joe real quick. When I first met Joe, he was excited about getting a mattress. When I first found his podcast, he was talking about getting a mattress in his own apartment, right? How cool is that? I thought that was the best thing, like hearing somebody and hearing his story, knowing where he's at. He was buying a mattress for him and his girlfriend to sleep on in his own apartment. I mean, that's making it, guys. I don't care if it's an apartment, whatever. That is real life making it. And Joe, we love you and congratulations on all that. And he's doing. Just listen to his podcast. I know you've always Carl podcast, but Dayton Strong Recovery 101 is Joe's podcast, and of course Carl's podcast is Soberpod. So listen to both of those podcasts. They support us. We support them. So, where's the weirdest place you ever slept, ladies?
I must be sheltered because I don't really have anything like too crazy. I don't know. But I think it's because I became an alcoholic later in life, so I was already kind of established. I had a home, but I did fall asleep when I was drinking. My husband is sober, so I used to go out to my car real smart, right? Drive around and drink. And I was drinking in a cemetery and passed out in a cemetery in my car. So of course, when I wake up, I have to drink some more at the cemetery. And then I left, and that's when I got my DUI, but leaving the cemetery. But I slept in a cemetery. I don't know how many hours because I was passed out, but in my car.
That's the cemetery is a weird place to sleep. So yeah, that's kind of weird. That's an unusual place to sleep. So Beth,
somebody's on you, they just think you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Just roll you right into the grave. So,
and apparently police like to hang out near cemeteries because
they do. The
two DUIs, two cemeteries. Yeah. So both times.
They do. The Podfather goes to the cemetery every morning. He's a retired police officer, as some of you guys know. He's at the cemetery every morning. So it's really weird. So
apparently it's a thing. People think the donut stop. No, the cemetery.
Cemeteries, exactly. So how about you, Beth? Let's keep this to a rated PG, okay?
Notice, Beth, he didn't say that for me, only for you.
So for me, so for real, when you asked me this, I was just like, the very first thing that came to mind was when I was a kid, I would get drunk and I was at Madison Square Garden for a dog show, and you're stuck there. Like when you exhibit at the garden for a dog show, you're stuck there for 12 hours or 10 hours or whatever it is, because it's a bench show. And so I passed out in a dog crate at Madison Square Garden. And again,
oh my God.
That's pretty unusual.
Yeah, right. It was though it was quiet and I was away from people, and I just went to sleep there. I remember waking up and not being able to get out. Somebody had locked the crate, so that was fun. And the other weird place, I was actually sober, and we went to a rave in the city. We got home at 6 a.m. and I had to start working at 7 a.m. So I slept in my car in my driveway so that I wouldn't be late for work.
Oh my God. So you have two of them, one sober. And were you sober when you were at this rave or no?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sober at the rave.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. There you go. I've never heard anybody being sober at raves, but that's okay.
That's why she's Super Beth.
So Super Beth. So Bambi, Cemetery, Beth, a dog crate, and you're parking. We're going to go with the dog crate. That's a little more unusual than sleeping in the driveway of. No, I'm not gonna give you the creepy falling asleep in front of the girlfriend's house or that stuff, which I never did. But my weirdest place where I ever fell asleep at was, of course, when I was drunk. Figured all of us would have some, probably the drunk ones. We would have like where we passed out. Probably I was in Seaside Beach. I think I was probably 17 or 16, and we got drunk and we slept underneath the lifeguard boat all night. The lifeguards came in the morning and got us up. It was the weirdest thing in the world. It was so weird. It was me and like two other guys. They looked at it like, what is going on here? So yeah, that was the weirdest place I ever slept. That I can remember anyway. So and then John L said, sleeping at Ed's house. That was it. That was the weirdest place he ever slept. So I don't know who this Ed guy is, but and anyways, so that's if you guys want to answer that question, comment below, and don't forget we're taking a poll here. We want you to comment below. Bambi is going to be purple heart. Beth is a orange heart. And I'm a blue heart. Just put it in the comment, because Bambi said she has her peeps kind of throw a purple heart up. So I want to see what these hearts are going to look like in the comments, guys. And we're going to tally them up for next week, and we're gonna tell you who won. So guys, 30 minutes into the show, we're going to start talking about step 12. Is this a recovery show? Can we? I don't know. Is this? We talk more about our shit than the steps at this point. So
well, it is a personal look today. So
you're right. Yeah. So we got very personal today. I love that. A personal look at step 12. So step 12 reads, guys, if you have your book, you can turn to 106. I'm reading it from the 12 and 12. And Beth, where's it in the big book? What page is the steps on?
Well, it starts on working with others.
Working with others.
I don't know.
She don't know. Go ahead. Give us the page.
All right. The page starts on page 89.
89. So if you want to follow along, I'm not reading the 12 step. There's 19 pages on step 12 in this book. I think it's the longest chapter.
Step 12 in the big book is from page 89 to page 164.
Oh my God.
So that's a long one.
That's a long one.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Multiple chapters in the big book on step 12. So
yeah. So step 12 is an important step. It reads, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. So that's a big undertaking for me anyways. I understand that, it's your step 12, man. You're ready to do the work that we were taught, and I guess there has to be a lot of instruction on it. That would be my guess. Cause God knows I need instruction on whatever I do, especially in recovery. I mean, my life, is much better because of recovery, much better because of 12-step work, much better because of spiritual awakening, carrying the message, just every day of my life, living life, and I was reading something in As Bill Sees It. And I think I don't know if it's from the 12, it was from a letter written in 1954, but it reads, each of us in turn, that is the members who get the most out of the program, spends a very large amount of time on the 12-step work in the early years. This was my case, and perhaps I should not have stayed sober with less work. But it goes on and on and on. Then it says, it's talking about life on life's terms, and it says, I think your choice of whether to participate, to take a particular 12-step job to be found in your own life. No one can tell you for certain what you ought to do at that particular time. Basically, before it was saying, life obligations come up, families come up. We can't live I know I couldn't live, the 12-step message on a daily basis. Say, hey, Beth, AA is great, or, 10 people are calling me or reaching out a hand to other alcoholics and addicts. But they did make a point that we can do it every day. And here's how we do it. Here's how I do it. I carry that message and I practice those principles in all my affairs. That's how I can carry step 12 out. I mean, of course, as you reach the hand of AA out, if somebody's reaching out, of course, I'm going to help somebody out. But I remember early recovery. I'm not talking, day 1 or 2. I'm talking the first 5-6 years. That's early recovery for me. Always wanting to help somebody. But then life got lifey. My kids came back into my life. That was a Liz comment. Life gets lifey. I had 2 jobs at one point. We moved. I'm like, how do I help people? But it says right in as Bill sees it, on page, like I said, it was page 21. I was reading a little off on it. If you guys want to read it, get the as Bill sees it. And basically, I get to carry the message because I'm practicing these principles in all my affairs. Like when I wake up, I pray. When I text some of my guys in the morning, I call my sponsor. And when I want to yell at my wife because I'm a human being, I don't, right? I stop because I practice all these principles in all my affairs. I don't flip off the guy down the street. I say hello to somebody, maybe I make a donation to, it's Christmas time now, to whatever charity it is. I have to think differently because my thinking, guys and ladies and everybody out there, my thinking is solely, if I went on my own, is all for me, all selfish, all what's going to benefit Ed, right? That's my thinking naturally because that's what I did for all those years. But if I practiced these principles in all my affairs, I don't have to be in that anymore, right? I can just go help people just by saying hello, holding a door for somebody, calling my sponsor, whatever it is. That's how I can, and in turn, again, here comes the selfish part. It helps me because if I can't stay sober, it ain't no good for anybody in my life. So that's how I I see step 12 for me, carrying that message, just carrying it and living it, just living that message daily. And I could go on and on how I do carry the message, how I get out there and help people, all that. But I think, and I love this reading, and as Bill sees it, I know that if I'm a good human being on a daily basis, people are going to want to know why, number one. And number two, people are going to gravitate towards what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Eventually they ask. And you know what? It happens a lot because I just met somebody not too long ago, a couple of days ago, who had no idea I was in recovery, had no idea that they were struggling. And just by carrying the message, just by living it in my life, the guy asked a couple questions, I said a couple questions, and back and forth. And now we talk all the time. And I helped him just by living a good, sober life. So that's kind of what my personal look at it is, guys. And what's your, ladies, what your stories, your personal look at it, whatever. I mean, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So the floor is open. I want to hear what your side of it is.
Well, I'm new because I'm just coming up on my 1 year. And
Yes,
I know we're going to celebrate. I want Carl to give me big fireworks and stuff.
He will. I'll make sure. We pay him good money too.
That's right. Right. But the work in the program has made me a better person. And I have been blessed, which I didn't consider it a blessing at the time, that the state that I'm now living in, I don't have a nursing license, so I can't work. So I've been really blessed to be able to work with Friends in Recovery and really do a lot of behind the scenes work, which lets me, carry the message, and reach out. And just like the other day, we were on the noon meeting because we do have twice daily AA meetings. And I was on the noon meeting, and there were like 5 new women on there. And one of them asked for a temporary sponsor, and my sponsor stepped up and said she was on that meeting and said she would temporarily sponsor her. But we all put our numbers into the chat. And right after the meeting was over, one of those women reached out to me, and I was able to spend a little over 2 hours talking to her on the phone. She was just really struggling and having a hard time. And I've connected with her pretty much every day since then, just touching base. And, for me to even be able in such early sobriety to be able to just have that time to spend with someone else when they need it, it has been such a blessing to get to do that, to really focus on that. And I just feel like, and I do agree, practicing the principles in all our affairs draws people to us because we're better people, we're better friends, we're better, acquaintances even, and people see what we're getting in our life, and they do want that, and if they're struggling, they have a resource. But I just feel very blessed to be able to have the opportunity to spend the time to give back right now, because I would be dead right now if I had not found this program in Friends in Recovery. So,
and so true. And Bambi, you do a lot of work around here. We always kid around or whatever, but Bambi is the heart and soul of this project that we're putting together. This is a passion project for all of us. All of us on here don't get paid. We come on here on our days off, on our hours off, on whatever, and we do this from our hearts, right? We do this from our hearts. But to me, this keeps me sober. It's selfish, but it keeps me sober. And I get to pass the message on to tell people how I do it. But Bambi, let me tell you, when she gets, when I say she gets on all these meetings, she does. Literally gets on every meeting, sometimes 3 meetings a day, even just to make sure. And that's not even the behind the scenes stuff, like when we have a host that's not feeling good, or somebody that's working, or we need this, or we need that, or we're looking for funding. Bambi is that person. Looking for an intern, which we still don't have, getting, guests next year. It's going to be even harder getting guests. But you know what? Because she practices those principles in all her affairs, she can do all this, and she attracts those people. She gets those people to come in and or whatever it is, and talks to them. And I see her in action. You guys get on one of our meetings, and Bambi will be on there. She has amazing sobriety, and she gives it back. And she's not even a year sober yet. We all have a day at a time, but I can't tell you, Bambi, how thankful I am for you being with us. Seriously. Friends in Recovery couldn't run without you. It will, but it couldn't, the way it does today. So thank you so much. And you do.
And Beth, I know Ed knows this, but I don't know that you know this, but literally when Ed asked me if I would start helping with Friends in Recovery, I had just sent my husband to get me an application for a gas station down the road, because I said, I have to have something to do. I cannot sit in this house and do nothing any longer until we can get moved back to Florida, where I can go back to practice nursing. And I prayed on it and prayed on it. And I said, I'm going crazy sitting in this house. How many episodes of Dr. Phil and Bobby Flay can I watch?
A lot.
And I was watching a lot. And literally the very next day, Ed calls and asks if I can start helping out. And it was a God shot for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's 12-step work right there. Every day, what Bambi does is 12-step work. She's carrying that message to other addicts and alcohol. She carries a message to me, guys. She does. I'm serious. She does. I mean, again, if I don't see Bambi at a meeting, if I don't hear her sharing a meeting, I'm like, oh man, that sucks today. I'm serious. I'm dead serious about it. She's definitely carrying the message. So thank you, Bambi. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, because I don't know where I'd be without Friends in Recovery. So.
Yeah, likewise. What about you, Beth? What's your take on step 12 and personal look at it?
I want to point out that both of you shared about practicing these principles in all your affairs in the beginning of the show and before. Like Ed, you having the best, worst, or the worst, best, or I forget, but the best, worst marathon, that's practicing these principles. So, and Bambi, like you not going to court and just taking the consequences. That's practicing these principles in all our affairs. And it's like, I hear the book. When I hear people talk like that, I hear what part of the book that is. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing because you guys continue to lead by example for me. Like yesterday, I worked the program. For me, practicing these principles yesterday was doing what I said I would do, which is go to a family party. And when my best friend's mom looked at me and said, get up and dance, I'm sitting there having a panic attack. I got up and danced for a couple minutes.
Is there video of that?
No.
Nothing's caught on video.
But and I don't think that we as alcoholics often have the ability to see ourselves in the light of practicing. And basically what the second half of the 12-step means to me is if I'm not doing okay, I start doing better, right? So I take direction and I shift. And if I'm doing okay, I do great. So it's coming out of what I know and into something that's a better way of life or taking a better action. Like Ed, when you were just like, yeah, forget it. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just going to have fun. And it was the last 3 miles. It was probably the most fun 3 miles you've ever fucking run in your life.
It was absolutely.
And continuing to take that experience and adding that to who you be as a person, every marathon will be more fun, right? You'll still take it seriously, but you know what I mean? Like I was sitting there thinking when you were saying like, you got the cramp and you had to stop and stretch. Like my first thought would be like, well, my time is fucked. So I'm just going to have a good time. Like I'm going to go dance with myself. Like, do you know what I mean? And you got there. And I think that is practicing these principles in all our affairs. We go through this work, right? We go through with a sponsor, or at least I do, go through with a sponsor, word by word, line by line. I get taught all of the principles from that book. And guess what? Like now I have to go have an experience with them because, Bill talks about it in the front of the book. It's like self-knowledge isn't going to do shit. Half aren't going to do shit. You have to have a personal experience, right? And in the beginning of the 12 steps, it says having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, right? So we've had the experience of a spiritual awakening. So now we're not completely of an alcoholic mind. We're past step 11 where we get our ability to think clearly again. So, right. Don't think that being in your head at all times is a bad idea because we're not stupid. I'm not the brightest bulb in the ceiling, but it's like, then we get into step 12 and it's like, take what you've now have knowledge about and go have a personal experience. The only way to do that in real time, right? So we know that God isn't in the future. God's not in the past. God can only be found in the present moment, right? So when presented with a moment that I don't like, that causes me anxiety, that I hate, that I want to punch somebody in the face, that I want to punch somebody in the throat, that I want to run away, right? This is my opportunity to practice. And I can tell you from my personal experiences is that when I am in that present moment and I am presented with an opportunity for growth, I literally think that's the worst 4-letter word you could absolutely. God gives me the principle and the solution in that moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's connecting what's actually going on in physical time with being in the present moment with my higher power, gives me the opportunity to take a risk,
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable, right? For us to be vulnerable means to just do something we've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like being naked in a concert. Like that's hard. Like expert level hard. So for me, like every single day that I show up, for me personally, like I could live in this basement for the rest of my life. I have a sewing machine, I have a TV, I have a bathroom, and I'm only 4 steps away from my refrigerator. I could just stay here for the rest of my life. So for me to get up and out is me practicing these principles. For me, going to a party when I have anxiety and it's a dark time of year for me, that's practicing these principles. That's me trusting my higher power more than I trust myself. Like, how lucky are we? Like every single moment that I choose to be in the moment, God always is presenting me with opportunities to show his omnipotence. You know, it talks about it in step 2, where it's like, he's the principal, we are the agents. He is the father, we're the children. It's like, he's the teacher and I'm the student. You know what I mean? Like, I'm grasshopper.
Yeah.
Dad used to actually call me weed hopper, which is hilarious. But it's like, for me, it's like when we practice and when we can't be in the moment, which it happens to us all the time, that's why we have a 10th step. Is we reach out to somebody who understands this process, who is in the moment, and say, oh, I'm fucked. I need some help. You know, just help. If that's the only word you can get out, I need help. And you know what I mean? Like, we have been given this complete set of tools to get out of the house. So now we need to get out of the house. We need to use the principles, have a personal experience. And when we do that, while we're doing that, we are responsible for taking other people through this process. And I can tell you that I am the most reluctant human being to take on a new sponsee in the world. I repel it at all, you know what I mean? Like as much as I possibly can. But at the same time, I am most spiritually awake and in the moment when I have somebody actively in the book.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I'm like, right, moron. Like, right, I'm reading these principles every single week and I'm refreshing and I'm waking up to it again. And but I'm still reluctant. I'm like, no, I don't want to sponsor you.
Yeah. Well, here's what you said about a comfort zone, right? We have to get outside of our comfort zone. But when we get outside of our comfort zone, we're comfortable. And that's what this does. Like, you know, having a spiritual awakening, did I have a spiritual awakening? My sponsor says I do. I think I do. And I'm going to try to carry this message. Well, how do I carry that message? Like, I have to get outside my comfort zone. Meeting you, when I met you up in Cape Cod, Beth, I immediately, when I started talking to this chick, I was like, this woman needs to be on my fucking podcast. The minute I started talking to her, we met at a lunch at a restaurant with a bunch of people. I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to ask her to be on the podcast? This is going to be really creepy. She doesn't even know who I am. But what did I ask you? Like 20 minutes in, I asked you to come on the podcast, didn't I?
Yeah, and that was the best thing you've done, Ed, because I'm just sitting here listening to Beth like in awe, like, oh my God, she explains it so like succinct, and I get it when she talks about it.
I know. But think about Beth on the other side of things. Well, who's this weird bald-headed dude saying to come on my podcast? And and then, but also, like, you never did a podcast, and that's not inside of your comfort zone. But look at how comfortable you are, right? I mean, you know, I love it. I love it.
When I'm just don't look at me.
We see you, Beth.
Whoa. I gotta go. But it's like, I'm on the same path that you guys are. So when somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, you want to come on our podcast? Maybe you want to host it with us? I'm like, sure, fuck it. Why not? I'll try. If I suck, like, don't blame me. I'm never. But I feel like the more that I allow myself to stay right here, right now with whatever's going on around me, the more I feel safe and protected by my God. the more, and listen, Thanksgiving to New Year's, not a good time for me ever. Some years are better than others. This year is kind of wonky, weird. I don't want to, but I'm not suicidal. But you know what I mean? Like when I hunker down and I get on the couch and I go dark, God's not with me. I'm just on my own. So it's like, what am I going to do today? Some days I hunker down and I sit on the couch and I watch, Great British Baking Show. And I don't remember that day. I don't know. And I have no experience for that day. But the days that I feel the way I feel this time of year and I actually get out of the house, like I'm really proud of myself. And my friend who invited me to the party last night, she texted me this morning in all caps. She said, "I'm so proud of you." Because she does see me, because she knows that it doesn't matter that I'm 31 years sober. And it's incredibly difficult for me to put on an outfit, wear makeup, brush my hair, get in a car, drive an hour, and be in public.
And dance.
And dance. Yeah. And dance. Yeah, but that's those moments on the couch that come back and saying, listen, I don't want to be in that dark spot because I can sit on this couch. I can lay here and just let that party go by, or push myself and be outside of my comfort zone, because eventually I'm going to be inside my comfort zone once I get there and I'm going to be okay. But this victim mentality laying on the couch, and I don't mean to call you out or whatever. That's the victim mentality laying on that couch. You were the victor and you just ran with it and said, fuck it, I'm going to push through it and see what happens on the other side. Even here, like I said, you did the same thing, and I'll be honest with you, every week I come on this show, I don't know what we're going to talk. I mean, I know what we're talking about, but I don't know how it's going to go. Some days are good. Some days are bad. Sometimes I leave it all up to you guys to talk, but that's life, and that's what recovery is about. That's what step 12 is about, helping each other out. When we're vulnerable, let everybody know. Like there's cues here. We can, Beth can talk a little bit more, or I might not have much to say, and Bambi may not even be here one day. But that vulnerable, getting vulnerable, and then telling people about it, and then just saying, this is how I got through it. Right. Yeah. Like Beth said, this is the book that gave me all my tools to get to where I'm at this very moment. This book and the big book and my sponsor. I didn't get here myself. I didn't work this program. Beth, you said 31 years. I have 28 years. I didn't get here by myself. I didn't get here not helping people. I didn't get here by just sitting here and saying, okay, I'm going to have 28 years today. It just didn't happen that way. I went through crisis. I went through divorces. I went through business losses. I went through deaths. I went through making money, not making money. You name it. I went through it all. I went through my kids growing up. I went through, I just have to give a quick shout out. I should give my daughter a shout out. She just had twins today or yesterday. So yeah. I forgot the shout out. So 2 baby boys. What's that?
Congratulations, Grandpa.
Thank you. So 2 baby boys, Dominic and Alex, Dominic and Alex. So yeah. But that's the joys, the sadness, the everything, watching my daughter go to college, our last kid in the house, that sucked, but she's getting a college education and she's going to go flourish on her own. That's the fucking cool part of it. And that's what this program taught me. That's what this step said. Don't hold that girl back, or don't let let those kids go and fall on their face. Let those kids fail miserably, because there will be a reward after it. And that's how life goes, and that's how I see this. And I can share my experience and I can tell them I fell down, but I have to let them go through it all. I have to let them go through it all, and that's what I get from this program each and every day. And I decide not to be the victim each and every day. I decide to be the victor and make sure that my life goes the way it's supposed to be. Now, do I play the victim sometimes? Absolutely, I do. But
listen, and what you're saying right now is this like very fine line that we with people with time have to be very, very careful about sharing both sides of it, which is there are going to be days that you're dark. Because if there weren't, you'd be perfect and you wouldn't need a program and you wouldn't be here.
That's right. Yeah.
days where I get stuck on the couch, and there are going to be days that we play the victim, and there are going to be days that we're like, you know what, fuck you, I'm good, I'm enough.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but in being accountable for it, right? So like when every single person that I'm close with in my life knows that this time of year, we're all going to check in on Beth as often as possible. And I'm going to be brutally honest and say, nope, not talking today. I'll text you, but I am not talking today. I am on the couch. And there are 4 or 5 women in my life that'll say, you have 24 hours. Like, or you know what I mean? We can spiral, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I have women that I'm like, you know, sometimes I get a reprieve and they're like, take the weekend.
Mm-hmm. And this is out of 30 after 31 years, because you're a human being, and we can't be perfect. We can't be perfect. And I love when we share that on here. You know, I'm listening to you. I'm like, wow, man, that's for real. That's real shit. That's happens. Yeah.
Yeah. There's too many people in these rooms that are so afraid of letting the newcomer know that, you know what I mean? Because there is, if you take too much dark time and you don't try to get out when you can, you will spiral, you will you will drink, you will die. Mm-hmm. So there's so many people that are not willing to share that. Yeah, dude, it's going to suck sometimes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if we open that side of the conversation, and I would love to like really look at the gray of recovery all through this year.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Right. When we have people come on, let's like really let them know that we don't want to know about the happy, joyous, and free. Mm-hmm. We want to know, what do you do in the gray area? What do you do when you go dark? What do you do?
How do you get back to happy, joyous, and free?
Right. Yeah. I want to hear, like, dude, I love hearing about the grandkids and the, you know, or getting a Christmas tree and I bought a new house. I love hearing that shit. But if we really want to help people grow, I want to have people come on who are amazing human beings and have them really be willing to get vulnerable and say, this is what I do when I go dark, or this is how I look at it, or this is how I process it.
Yeah.
Because I think that the 12-step process has been through a lot of extremes, and I want to be a part of the movement that brings it to balance.
Mm-hmm. And I like what you said. Oh, good, Bambi. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I love that.
I know. And, you know, Beth, you said I sit on the couch and, you know, I go dark for a while, but that's okay. That's okay. But it's not okay to go dark for a month, a year, or, you know, whatever. It's okay just to do it a little bit, because we have to grow through that little bit of time. And then there's people, you designed your program, Super Beth designed her program because she knows she's going to go dark every once in a while, sitting on that couch, and those people are going to pull her out of it. There is a fail-safe put in place for you specifically because you knew you were going to do that. And that's working a really good fucking program if you can do that. Like, have other people get you out of this shit.
But that's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the real purpose of a sponsor after you go through the 12 steps, is having that person in your life that's not going to tell you what to do, but continue to ask you questions of accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
A week or two or a month or whatever it is. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just busy. New job, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not okay. No, I'm not ready to talk about it. Okay, let's set up a time where you're going to make yourself willing. And we do that. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I would love to do that with our speakers this year and really have that focus.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Absolutely. How they got okay. Here's the other thing too, is that, where was I going with my train of thought, about being okay. You know, we don't have to be okay all the time. Bambi always hears me. Yeah. Bambi always hears me saying on the meetings, and some people come on the meetings, it's like, we're all going to get shit sandwiches handed to us. Guaranteed. It's fucking guaranteed we're going to get a shit sandwich handed to us. How fast are you going to eat that shit sandwich to get through it, right? And who are you going to call on to help you eat that shit sandwich so it's done and over with, right? Or do you want to sit there and fucking enjoy the shit sandwich? Some people do. Like, get through it quick. Get the people, you know, get it done and over with as soon as you can, because you're going to have a good spot afterwards. But you know what? Sure as shit, there's going to be another shit sandwich being handed to you. And then you know what? You figure out how to eat it that quick. You're going to figure out even quicker the next time around. So,
Totally.
That's kind of how I look at it anyways.
Yeah, it's 100% true. We do this together, right? That's why, I mean, the book talks about it over and over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm done.
I'm done because I have to pee. We're done. The show is over. I'm going to pee. But step 12. So this is going to be the last really personal look, if it's formatted in this format for us to talk about our personal stuff on each step. And I think we got a lot out today, especially on step 12. There's 19 pages in this book for a reason. There's multiple chapters in the big book for a reason on step 12, because step 12 is what we're going to do for the rest of our life if we want to stay sober, right? It's going to be hands down what we have to do. And it can't be a page or two. It just can't be, and it has to instruct me. I have to practice these principles in all parts of my life. Right. And that doesn't take just 2 pages of stuff. That takes a lifetime of trial and error, of those shit sandwiches, of those dark days on the couch, of those decisions that Bambi just had to make of let's get this done and over with. I don't want to share her personal experiences, but, that's the decisions that we have to make. And I know each and every one of you guys out there have to make these decisions too and come to grips with it. But it'll help you further on in your life. It'll help you help other people also. That's what this step is about. To me, that's what this step is about. My experiences, good or bad, passing them on, how I got through it. So number one, that there is help out there. Number two, you're going to do it your way, not my way, but there is light at the end of the tunnel because this guy made it through. And you're talking to me, I'm going to tell you that I made it through and there's hope for you to make it through. Because you know why? Because thousands of people did it for me in the past. I'm not here because of fucking me. I'm not here because of the brains that I got. I'm not here because I know everything. I'm here because of all the people that came before me, everybody who suffered, everybody who maybe went back out again, whatever they did. I'm here because of that. And that's what this book teaches me. And I'm going to be part of somebody's story 10 years from now. Guarantee I'm going to be. And that's how I live my life. So step 12, any closings on step 12 as personal guys before we end the show?
Now, I in a way, I'm going to miss doing these because I learned so dang much, about these steps and even the traditions and things. And as a new person in recovery, it's just, I get so much from it. So, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to start the next, the next year with guests and things. But I've learned so much. I mean, I feel so inspired right now after listening to Beth. I'm like, yeah, I can handle those bad days,
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Super Beth? How you hit it right on the nail the whole show. I mean, thank you for all your experience, strength, and hope. And again, you learned that from other people, but you're passing along to all of us now. So
yeah, I'm just really grateful to be a part of this. I'm really looking forward to our new year and doing interviews and having this new experience. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We take all this information and we're going to bring it out next year. Guys, if there's anything you want us to do on the show, if there's any topics or any guests that you would suggest, or if you want to be a guest, please let us know, email us or call us or whatever, and just let us know. So, step 12, a personal look. I think we're done and over with it. And that's going to be another one in the history books. This was a really good show, ladies. I've learned a lot. I've understood a lot, and I've, it's just continuing growing. The day I can't grow is the day I'm going to either relapse or I'm going to die. That's the only outlook that I have in life, because I need to learn something new every day. And if I can't learn something new from Beth, who has more years than I, and if I can't learn something new from Bambi, who has a lot less years than I'm in the wrong room, man. I better just open my ears. I better just start listening, because that's when the ego kicks in. That's when this book doesn't work for me anymore. And I have to figure out why. And I need to listen to you guys. So thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure with all your experiences throughout the year. And understanding these steps. I've learned a lot on the personal look. I've learned a lot just reading the steps. I learned a lot from Jeff Zazelle. And I learned so much just in these steps. Next week, we're going to be doing tradition 12. So that's kind of it with the steps for now. I mean, we're going to practice these steps in our whole lives, but for us to really go in depth with these steps, this is kind of it. I'm kind of getting emotional here because it was a good run. It was a good year. And like Bambi said, I learned so much. So if you want to learn more about the steps, go back to the beginning of the year, listen to the show right through. You know, we've come up, we have a lot of good information on there. So please, this, just because we're stopping here today doesn't mean these aren't available. These are going to be available hopefully forever, with what we've put out there. And there's other shows too that are just as good or even better. But this
there
is
are?
well, maybe, but this is what we put out, guys. So on that, I would like to thank the Friends in Recovery and everybody who donated here to the show, for keeping this show going. And ladies, thank you, ladies, so much for everything, and stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.